Hey everybody, and welcome back. Last week we covered avatars. It was a little challenging because Ready Player Me changed some of their stuff, but many of you learned how to make avatars or learned about avatars. We had a great discussion in office hours about avatars using HeyGen, another application, and how to recognize real avatars versus fake ones, and also scams. So I hope you enjoyed that. This week we're going over passwords and password management. Now, this is obviously critically important, and I'm going to share a few things that I've done to help myself with passwords, and hopefully it helps all of you out. There's a discussion that I'd love you to go on. The discussion is about, there's some links about passwords here. And our discussion topic, what are your thoughts about passwords? Do you have any suggestions for everyone here? Strategy, tips, and tricks. It'd be great if you hopped on to the discussion this week and shared that. I think it would help everybody. And so just discussion, just write whatever you want that's helpful for all of us there. So that would be really great. Okay, so in this module, week 7, there's a lot of articles in this one, and I have them linked, a lot of them, to the source because the information changes quickly. So we're a mix of Mac users or PC users, but there's some things in common with passwords. And the one thing in this whole lesson that's kind of the overarching theme is that password managers are really helpful. We all forget our passwords, and one of the reasons why is because they keep asking us to make like longer ones. And so if you made a password and then it's all of a sudden they want 12 characters or 10 characters, or they want a character and a capital letter and a special symbol or something like that. So it makes you keep changing your passwords, and it gets very confusing. It does for me, for sure. So my favorite tool that I use, because I'm a Mac user, is the Apple Password Manager. So I have this page here, and every time I do a link, I usually put an image of what that site looks like, at least when I made this page in Canvas. So when you click the link, you'll see, and there it is. It does look just like that. So what this does is when you sign in with your Apple account, which you all have to do anyways to use Apple stuff, it'll ask you if you want the Apple account manager to save your password. And it saves it so you don't have to remember it. And this is the one that I use across all my devices with my iCloud account for everything. I have it on my iPad, my phone, my computers, and I have a few devices, my watch. And there's information on how to use it here. But basically, once you set up your iCloud, it will start working, and then you can have it remember your passwords or create a strong password, which is a string of characters that it saves. It's something that you don't have to remember at all. But when you go back to that app, it'll remember that strong password and use it again. So there's password autofill. There's the iCloud keychain. That's the thing that connects these. So no matter what device you're pulling up, your password will work. So that's what I'm using. There's also verification codes, which I set up whenever I have the opportunity, especially on social media. So if you have Facebook, that's the number one that gets hacked. Make sure that you have two-factor authentication. And you can go in your settings, go into security, and set that up. What it usually does is it texts you a code that you put in there, and then it'll turn on. It saved me from getting hacked up till now, so I'm super appreciative of that method. At Saddleback, we use Microsoft Authenticator, so I've downloaded that app, and it sends me a number, and then I put that in the Authenticator app, and then it opens whatever I'm trying to open. So, like for me to get into Canvas, that's how I do it. There's a lot of recommendations on passwords, how to choose a strong versus weak one. Usually, a password will have special characters and numbers in it besides letters. So it's pretty simple. It's just hard to remember, which is why I use these other tools in Apple to remember it. So that's why I have a link, because this could change, or their advice could change. But right now, this is really accurate. So I would read through this. It's really good. Even if you're not a Mac user, it's worth reading through. So that's the first part. There's a lot of resources here. This site is about password rules, and you can see if your password has been hacked or if you should change it. Google also has this type of thing. If you go in there to security and you check the security of your passwords, so it's called NIST and password rules. It flips over to this site, and then it goes over the rules for making passwords. So that should be very helpful to you. National Institute of Standards and Technology. So it's an article that we share here for your information, and all the different rules on making passwords, about the length and the characters, and it's all there in the NIST thing. So that's NIST, NIST. Why use a password manager? For me, it's a must because there's no way I'm going to remember them all. So, and if you write them down on paper, you may lose that paper or somebody may see that paper. So password managers are better. So there also are subscription-based services, and if you go into this link, you'll see the different options for those in this article. So let me go down here, choosing a password manager. So I use the ones that just come with my Apple, but there's also Bitwarden. That's a popular one. I also use Google has one, so because I do a lot of things in Chrome, and so between Chrome and Apple, I can find out my password stuff. So that's how I'm doing it. How to create a strong password and remember it. This is really great. A great article. So if you're having trouble or you're always using like your name and your birthday, which you shouldn't be using, or something like that, this is about making better passwords and remembering them. So it goes through the characters, numbers, symbols, combination of words. So really great information that I think is really helpful for generating passwords. So I highly recommend that one. The next part is about Bitwarden. So this is a separate app that you can get. I personally do not use this because I'm using Apple and Google, but you can use Bitwarden, and it will also be one stop to save all your passwords. If maybe you're on PC and this is better for you or easier for you to use. So you can flip to that site. And there's a whole video series about how to use the Bitwarden password manager. So if it's an option for you, you might want to read or watch the video, these different videos about Bitwarden that are embedded here. So the way it works, just like the other pages I have here, when you go to the site, you'll get access to these videos. Okay, next one. Introducing Proton Pass to protect your passwords and identity. This is another way to do it. So Proton Pass is another application that's like a bank to put your passwords in. It's another one that I personally don't use, but it's available, started in 2020, or this was published in 2023. It's a browser extension on your browser so another option that you can check out if you want. And let's see, I'm down to Apple Password Manager. So this is a lesson summary, and I have the lesson summary about Apple's new password manager, which I think is the best one. This is interesting. And there's an average of 255 passwords per person, and that's why we can't remember them all. And let me go back to the modules and make sure I covered everything. Okay, so there's a lot more. I got down to let's see, Bitwarden, useful links, password manager. Okay, so let me go up to here. We're social engineering red flags. So this will give you some idea on when there's red flags, and you don't want to ever give away your password. So sometimes people ask you to sign in to things. The first thing I do is, and it says here in the explanation, they try to disguise themselves as trusted sources, is you have to check the email link. So people always try to make it look like they're from Google or from some trusted source, and you need to verify their address. And if you're not sure, do not click on anything there. So what they're trying to get is your password so they can break into your stuff. And that's what they do. So this tells you what to look for. The subject line does not match the content. Email references are wrong. Email was sent in the middle of the night. Weird attachments, weird file types. So this is really, really important on red flags for getting hacked. It happens all day. So I would watch all of this. This is a document about creating passwords. It's another company from Cybersecurity Awareness. Have I been pawned? We went over that. You're checking your passwords. And I think I'm like repeating myself now. So let me go back to here. Password manager links. Okay, so there's links here too. If you want to install Bitwarden or 1Password, and then there's an open source one called KeePass XC. I personally am not using these, but they're here for in case you're interested. Generating small, strong passwords online, two-factor authentications, and OTPs. So let me go to this one. This is like my favorite. So two-factor authentication. These are like categories that you can set it up for.
Sean Lewis.
And hold on a second. So if you want to back up like two-factor authentication for banking, it tells you like the types of, in fact, I'm in a lot of these things, types of things that are accessible through these sites. And all of these have two-factor authentication because I use a lot of them. So two-factor authentication is when they can either give you a text code or have you authenticate on something like Microsoft Authenticator. Another one is called Duo, D-U-O. And so this is a directory of website types and which things you can use that already have the two-factor authentication. And then OTP auth, let's look at that. So this is another app, one-time password authorization on the App Store. And what OTP does is, let's say you're going to download an app and you have to pay something. It'll send you a code to this, and then you'll get the code and you can authorize it. So many different ways to do it. But I really like Apple's password manager, and Google has one as well. And it really helps me out as well with family members. So let's say I'm at my sister's house and she can't remember her password. She never can. She can log into Google, go into her settings, look at her passwords, put in her code for her computer, and then I can help her find a password for a certain thing. It's usually like the cable or something that like cable channel thing or one of those kind of apps that we're trying to find. Or sometimes it's YouTube. So it's saved in the computer, but it's safe in your password manager. So if you're trying to get into something and you know how to get into your password manager, then you can retrieve a password that you don't remember and then have somebody help you with whatever activity that you're doing. So that's a little bit about passwords. It's a critical module that I would go through very carefully. And we'll be talking about this Wednesday in office hours that we meet at 3 o'clock. It's optional, but we always have a good talk. And you can ask other questions as well about anything. And before we go, I wanted to show you something that came out this week, which is Grok 3. This is Elon Musk's AI, and he was actually part of OpenAI before with ChatGPT. And then he bought Twitter, which he renamed X. And on X on your phone, if you have that, is Grok, now Grok 3. But I just went on my computer, signed in with a Gmail account, and I have Grok 3. And right now it's free, so it's kind of fun to do stuff on here. You can make images, You can write code, analyze data, brainstorm or research, and use deep search. So anything you want to know about. So I'm just going to ask it. Give me a suggestion on something cool to try in Grok. Let's see what it says. Interactive story, choose your own adventure. That's fun. So sure, I'll give it a shot. Let's see what it does. So now it asks me to set the stage. So I can do a story, or maybe I want to do something harder, like let's make images of the planets and understand orbits. Something like that. Scientific. Which planet catches your eye? Let's see. Saturn. So it looks like it's gonna create something for me. And the way Grok works is it fills down the images from the top to the bottom, and then it lets you download them or regenerate. It's pretty fast, but it's also very good. It seems to be like this Grok 3 works really nicely. So there we go. Now tell me about if I tried to launch a rocket from Earth and land on Saturn, what is the mass? So this is like a pretty big question. So it's giving me the distance to Saturn. We need an escape velocity for those scientists out there. So it's plugging that into that equation. And then it's calculating the velocity at Earth's distance for the transfer orbit. So this is unbelievable. Now, is it right? I'd have to go check, right? Like, you can never say, like, everything is right. Can you make a moving plot of the orbit? I have no idea if it can do this. So it says no. It can't create. I saw on YouTube last week, they had a rocket that, like, it was dots, but it was orbiting Mars and coming back and calculating all that. It took like a half an hour to calculate it. So it can generate some images. Whoops. Okay, I mistyped there, but see, okay. Make a creative story about this. So it's one of the things you might notice, it's really fast. This is the fastest model today, and it won't be free for long. I think they're just trying to get people to try it out. So it wrote like a quick story about going to Saturn for me, the Rings of Destiny. Now deep search, let's see what this does. So if I wanted to deep search, maybe I'll ask it, what does deep search do? I spelled that wrong too. Okay. So it should be, let's see, digs past surface level. So it's basically reasoning and finds details of things. So maybe find the best college in California for bioengineering. Let's see what it says. That should be, actually I should have clicked, deep search. Let me stop that and do it again, because I think I need to click deep search to do that. Okay, find the best, do that again. Best college in California for bioengineering. So I put deep search and deep search. Yeah, I click that and then it'll go to deep search. Okay, so it's different. Now you can see it's thinking. It's kind of summarizing its thinking. It doesn't want to give you all the details, because when I watched out how this works, it consolidates it so that other bad actors can't copy their code as easily. So it's starting to go through all of this information from different sites, and it should give me some pretty accurate results after all of this. So this is deep search. Again, I don't expect it to be free for very long, but they want you to try it out because it's probably learning. So it did rank these and give you the reasons why it chose. So let me go back up here. So it gives you the top programs. I went to UCSD, so it tells you, it goes through a doctorate, focus on biotech and medical tech, which is true. Let's see, they have some rankings. So Stanford, always #1, but it depends what you're doing. If you're making like medical devices, UCSD would be #1 for that. But there you go. So if you were searching for college stuff for somebody and you wanted to give them some extra information, deep search is pretty awesome. It does give you the references as well, so you don't have to trust it. You can go and look for yourself. So think, tell me how to fix a valve stem on my car tire. It's a problem I had the other day. It turns out it was fine, but let's see. Oh, so it does give you like a separate window, and it's thinking through it. See, it's actually reasoning. That's the scary part. We're getting to generative AI where it's reasoning through this. Once it's reasoned, it'll give you the output. So again, much more in-depth than just giving you an answer. And you can go check its reasoning up here. Thought for 16, see first, we're going to break it down, determine if the valve stem is leaking or damaged. So if you have an issue and you want it to think through it and tell you how it's thinking, this is pretty awesome. So thinking and deep search. That is amazing. So that's all I've got today for week 7. Next week we'll be talking about managing photos and storage. Take care, everybody.